You know, it's like they always say, everything is bigger in Texas. It is also faster and louder as the states are massive with the pedals stay glued to the floorboards. As for the first time here on this channel, we'll be heading to the Lonestar state to achieve the high-speed dreams here at Fort Worth. It's the Speedy Cash 250 for race number 8 of the Dewalt Truck Series here at Texas Motor Speedway. A little over 2 weeks ago, we saw Brandon Jones secure a timely victory at Homestead Miami Speedway, with Tim Simmons going back on point, having a 10-point lead over the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek. And of course, this is going to be another brand new track. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty coming in here, as they said that this is going to be one of the toughest tracks that we're ever going to race on. But these drivers are willing to take the challenge, because you want to know what they're racing for? They're racing for a title, as we're about to start the second half here at Texas Motor Speedway. There is the grid on the back straightaway, and now we're about to take a look at your starting lineup to see where your favorite drivers will be starting at here tonight at the Great American Speedway. Couple of race winners on the front row, with the 11 of Corey Heim as our pole sitter here tonight at Texas, and the 16 of Justin Haley on the outside pole position as the highest Ram qualifier. Kenny Honeycutt finally back on track as he just started third in row number 2 with the 17 of Giovanni Ruggiero, as both of them are desperate to try to get back up into the points after today. 37 of Ashley Kapusta to round up the top 5 for Night Hop Motorsports. She starts 5th in row number 3 with the 18 of Tyler Ankrum starting 6th on the outside. Then you got the 52 of Stuart Freeze at starting 7th in row number 4 with the 34 of Lane Ridge, our Daytona winner, starting in the 8th place position. And then rounding out the top 10, we got the 38 of Chandler Smith and the 3 truck of Cletus McFarland, rounding out the top 10 back in row number 5. And of course, our most recent winner, Brandon Jones, and the 1 will be starting in the 11th place position in row 6 with the 98 of Ty Majeski starting 12th. Sammy Smith driving the number 8 truck here tonight, starting in the 13th place position, and the 71 of Rajat Karuf, hoping that he can at least have a better half than the first half, as he does start 14th back in row number 7. And then row 8, the 12th truck of Brandon Queen, who's currently sitting 4th in the standings, is hoping to continue his momentum in the second half of the season. And the 19 of Daniel Hemrick looking to try to improve, as he currently sits 15th in the standings as he starts 16th in row number 8. And how about Andres Perez in the 44, finally having a decent qualifying effort as he will start 17th here this time around. And the 4 truck of John Nemechek, who's currently 10 points out of the championship lead, will start 18th back in row number 9. And then we got a couple of drivers in the bubble right now, that being the 75 of Arthur Klitterman and the 42 of Matt Mills. They are desperate to get good days here today, as they both start 19th and 20th in row number 10. And near mid-pack, we see the 9 of Grant Infinger starting 21st. He is currently 3rd in the standings, 11 points out, and the 36 of Riley Herbst. Dangerously close to that bubble here in the standings, so needs to have a good day here today, as he will have to start 22nd tonight. And Frankie Muniz not starting dead last for once in his career, as he does start 23rd back in row number 12. And on the outside of him is the 88 of Matt Crappen starting 24th. And then in row 13, round up the top 25s, 26 of Dawson Sonnen, and the 66 of Luke Fenhouse, a 2-time race winner this season, will start 26 on the outside for Thor Sport Racing. Corey LaJoy starts 27th in row 14, and how about our points leader, Tim Simmons in the 97. Not a good qualifying lap for him, as he will have to start all the way back to the 28th place position. Needs to have a rebound here today if he wants to keep his championship lead after today. And the 15 of Tanner Gray and the 25 Matt DiBenedetto back in row 15, as they both round up the top 30 with Tanner Gray on the inside and Matt DiBenedetto on the outside. The collapse continues for the 99 of Ben Rhodes, as he will have to start all the way back in the 31st place position near the back of the pack, with the 76 of Spencer Boyd starting 32nd back in row 16. And back here, we see the 81 of Connor Mozat starting 33rd in row 17, with the 50 of Landon Castle raising his way into the show to make his debut here in the Dewalt Truck Series, as he will start 34th. And top 5 in the standings is Jake Garcia, and he will start 35th in the standings. A lot of work cut out for him, as he's going to have to challenge his way out front at a track like this. So he's had a lot of work cut out for him, including the 5 of Tony Bryant here, as he will start 36 on the outside. And how about Stephen Parsons in the number 55 truck, also qualifying his way in. He is the last driver on the grid, as he will drive a very special tribute to his uncle Benny Parsons, the 1973 Cup Series champion, in that very special 55 paint scheme. Did had some drivers that did not qualify here for today's event. That would be Josh Balicki and Keith McGee. Those 2 drivers were not able to qualify in for the show. as of course Stephen Parsons and Landon Castle were the ones that actually out-qualified them, so both of those drivers were unable to advance into the show here today for this race for the Speedy Cash 250, so they will have to go home for today's event. Once again to the broadcast booth, ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Simmons. I'm with Tim James here this time around. Jimothy James is not going to be with the broadcast booth here for us this weekend, but he should be able to be back with us here on our next race when we move on into Watkins Glen in race number 9. But Tim James, this is definitely going to be an interesting race that we're about to see here. Obviously, we've never raced the Texas Motor Speedway here before, and this is probably going to be one of our toughest tracks that we've raced here so far. Even though we said that Homestead was going to be the toughest one by far on the schedule, this is more than likely going to be our toughest track on the schedule.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Not to mention with this asymmetrical track layout that we have here, with turns 1 and 2 having a smoother shape, with turn 3 and 4 being incredibly slick and very bumpy coming into those turns. And not to mention that the temperature here in Fort Worth is 105 degrees, which skyrocketed the temperature surface here on the track between 145 to 160 degrees.
Wow.
And with all of that happening, this is going to reduce tire grip and is going to probably more than likely increase a lot of engine temperatures. And the cockpit is going to be roughly 130 degrees inside these cars. So it's definitely going to lead to a lot of tire blistering here throughout this race today. And the surface is going to be incredibly slick here. If you think that turns 3 and 4 are going to be slick, no. With the hot temperatures that we've had currently going on here in Texas Motor Speedway, it's definitely going to be slick throughout the entire track as a whole. So it's definitely going to be incredibly challenging for a lot of these drivers here. And this is definitely going to be tougher than Homestead, no doubt about it.
Yikes, yeah, this is definitely going to be a rough one for sure for all of these drivers here, as they're going to have to avoid a lot of tire blistering as much as they can, especially with the extremely hot heat that's well over 145 degrees on the asphalt. And they definitely want to try to avoid any engine failures at minimum, but we won't be surprised if we could see that happening a lot, because these temperatures inside these engines and fluids can definitely spike up within the closing laps here of this race. Thankfully, there was only 51 laps, so it won't be an extremely long race, but it will still definitely feel very exhausted inside the cockpits, because it's going to be well over 130 degrees. So, yeah, this is going to be one that these drivers are going to have a rough time trying to get through this without any sort of big incidents here. So a lot of these drivers who's in the championship battle right now coming into the second half want to avoid any issues as minimum. So hopefully we can avoid most of that here today, as we're about to get started here for the 8th race of the Dewalt Truck Series. So without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and go track side and get these engines fired here to start the second half of the Dewalt Truck Series season.
What's up, Texas Motor Speedway? Drivers, start your engine!
My man.
Definitely hyping the crowd up here tonight as we're about to kick off the second portion of the season, as we are already coming down to it. As the trucks are now making their way into turn number 3 into turn number 4. And tonight we all start with the Texas Size Showdown under the Lonestar sun, under 105 degree blazing heat. And with us closing into the end of the season, with the second half starting here today, the stakes are going to be massive here, because every position is going to matter. You must roll the dice and be lucky if you want to at least have a greater chance to get into the championship hunt. Pace car is now down on the way on pit road. Strap in, it's time to go racing here at Texas Speedway. Green flags in the air, we're underway at the Lonestar Stakes.
Yeehaw!
And look at Katie Honeycutt in the 45, already trying to take the lead here already here on just the first lap. He started in the 4th place position, is already worked his way out front to battle for the lead in the early run-in between the 11 of Corey Heim.
Yeah, this is exactly what this 45 truck definitely needed here. He's currently 22nd in the standings after he had such a major collapse after Kansas Speedway. And this is definitely something that this 45 team definitely need to have a run like this. If he can stay where he's at here and stay out of trouble, he should be in the right place and actually get above the top 20 at the day's end. Right now, he's still trying to challenge Corey Heim in that number 11 for the early lead. And this 37 of Ashley Caboose is going to help him out and in that number 37 truck. Right now, the top 5 is slowly pulling away from the main pack behind them.
Yeah, I haven't talked much about Ashley Caboose so far this season, but she is currently 10th in the standings right now, in the top 10, currently tied with Chandler Smith. And you can see now, Kaden Honeycutt now is going to drop the second. Corey Heim is now going to take the lead here. Stuart Friesen is currently right now in the 3rd place position, and here comes Justin Haley right now in the 16, trying to change that and see if he can get into the 3rd place position, as he's currently side by side right now, still with the 52 of Stuart Friesen. Stuart Friesen and Justin Haley have both won a race here this year, as well as the 11 of Corey Heim. And,
we got a spin coming in turn 3. It's Parker Klitterman.
And Klitterman's going to go for a slide down in turn number 3, and the caution's going to come out here on just lap number 4. And it looks like the 15 of Landon Castle may have gotten a piece of it. I think I'm seeing damage on the nose of that number 15.
Yeah, it does look like he did get some piece of damage here from this incident. Not exactly sure what caused this to unfold, but came out of the back straightaway. You can see all the smoke billowing in the back straightaway into turn number 3. And already, guys, on just lap number 4, we are under our first caution of the day.
And this will be for a 2-truck incident that just occurred on the back straightaway. And we're going to take a look at that right now, involving the 75 Parker Klitterman.
Oh, out front, you saw the 36 of Herbst getting into the wall after he went way up high. And we mentioned how hot the surface temperature is here. Of course, with the air temperature at 105, the surface is well above 140 miles an hour, so it's definitely can lead up to slick conditions, and that's exactly what we saw there with that 36 incredibly sideways coming towards the back straightaway. And this is a tough race for Klitterman too, because he started in the top 20. He needed to have a good day here because he's currently 29th in the standings, currently in the bubble in the standings right now, and that's definitely not what that 75 needed. And you saw Landon Castle there do a couple of swilly doos around, but he was able to get it rolling. And he's going to drive it down to pit road, as well as Parker Klitterman in the 75.
Yeah, there was the contact right there by the 36 into the wall. And, of course, he got in front of the 50 of Landon Castle, and that's how he got his nose damage. But 75 may be okay here because he actually just drifted coming into turn number 3. Although it was in the wrong direction, but I don't see much damage on that number 75 as well. But there's definitely some damage on the 50 of Landon Castle.
Yeah, there is damage on the 50, but there may be a little bit of damage on the 75 because he might have tagged the wall just a little bit there, but not too much contact though, so he may be okay for the most part.
Alright, so this is right along with the 36 of Riley Herbst.
And there's the wall contact, and he bounces back in front of traffic, collects the 50. He goes spinning around. The 75 also spins out. And thankfully, everybody, though, for the most part, was able to avoid a good bit of damage there. Somebody was scraping off the wall. That might have been Luke Fenhouse. But for the most part here, really, the only major damage is from the 50 of Landon Castle, as his nose is slightly buckled up on the nose right there. And the 99 of Ben Rhodes somehow was able to avoid that accident because he's been collapsing in the point standings right now, currently sitting 23rd. And with him avoiding that one, it was definitely a close call right there.
And here's Fox helmet coming from the 75 of Klitterman.
Thankfully, no big hits for the 75 of Klitterman as he was spinning around, so he should be okay for the most part here. But that 50 truck may be a little concerned because, of course, it's buckled in on the nose. But we'll see how it plays out as we're on to our first caution of the day.
2 trucks involved, that being Landon Castle and Parker Klitterman, which they both spin around, coming down into the back straightaway into turn number 3. On just the 4th lap, we're already under our first caution here of the SpeedyCash.com 250 here at Texas Motor Speedway for race 8 of the Dewalt Truck Series. And as we work onto our first caution of the day, we're going to step aside and take a quick break and get back to the restart here at Texas. Heading towards the restart for the first time here today on lap 9 with Corey Heim and Kenny Honeycutt leading us down to the restart. Unfortunately, it was a short day for the 50th Landon Castle as he's already done for today's event, but the 75 equipment is still on track. But nonetheless, we're going to get back underway here. Up to the gears they go. Green flag back to the air.
A big advantage for the 11 of Corey Heim as he's got a lot of drivers to help him out, that being the 16 of Justin Haley, the 37 of Ashley Caboose, as well as the 8 truck of Sammy Smith. The 45 of Kanan Honeycutt looks like he's going to drop a little bit here, doesn't lose too much momentum though, as now the 16 of Justin Haley goes up top, but now he's going to go down to the bottom as Corey Heim blocks down low.
Oh, and those two trucks are now going to slightly pull away from the pack behind them, as Justin Haley is trying to close in on the gap of this 11 truck. Now he's going to try to see if he can make a move, entering turn number 1. Side by side right now for the lead on lap 10. But here comes the 45 of Kenny Honeycutt once again.
And how great of a win this would be for the 45 of Kanan Honeycutt. Not only that is going to save the season, but it will also be special because he is from Willow Park, Texas. So it will definitely be a very special win if he can win it at home, since this is his home track and whatnot. But he's also got 3 drivers here that already has a win that is challenging for the top spot, that being Friesen, Haley, and Heim.
Honeycutt now a little bit under pressure right here as the 52 of Stuart Friesen has now moved up here into the top 4. Now we mentioned that these 3 drivers are looking for their second victory. Kenny Honeycutt looking for his first. And now we'll see it right here in front of them, side by side right now for the lead, as Stuart Friesen is giving Justin Haley a big push right here, looking to try to take the lead away from Corey Heim.
And of course, it's been a shape-up here in the points for these 3 drivers, because Justin Haley is the highest currently right now at 6, with Stuart Friesen 11th, and Corey Heim currently 12th. And that's because they've had some mixed results here, these past couple of weeks, but they're still running pretty solidly in the top 15. And we got a crash behind them. It's going to be a huge wreck coming into turn number 3.
And this one involves the one of Brandon Jones, our most recent winner at Homestead 2 weeks ago. He gets caught up in this one, as well as the 13 of Jake Garcia. I believe the 99 got a huge chunk of that. Ben Rhodes, his bad luck continues. There's smoke coming out of the 26 of Dawson Sutton. I believe it blew the motor of that number 26. Oh, and Chandler Smith, who is currently in the top 10 right now, tied with Ashley Caboose for that final spot in the top 10, is also involved in this with heavy smoke coming out of the number 38.
Yeah, and that's bad for Chandler Smith because obviously he was top 10 in the points. He was running 9th in the standings right now, entering in Texas, and of course that's bad for Brandon Jones, as of course he won the most recent race at Homestead that we had not that long ago, almost 2 weeks ago. And he was caught up in this one. He was trying to go back-to-back to become the second driver to do so in the Dewalt Truck Series, but he was caught up in this one. I'm not sure how much damage the 1 truck has, but I know the 38 has a lot of damage as he was smoking coming in the pit road. As this is probably going to take out a lot more drivers here this time around, as it was a much more bigger accident than the previous incident that we've had. Under our second caution here of the day on just lap 13.
It looks like it's going to be highly identical to the one that we've had not that long ago on lap 4. This time it involves Andres Perez scraping the wall and collecting a bunch more other drivers, with the 88 of Matt Crafton also involved, the 4 Jonathan Nemechek with the piece. And there you can see everybody else trying to avoid the melee. Most of them was able to avoid them, but there was still a lot of drivers here that has a lot of damage. Oh, and Brandon Jones. Looks like he's going to get beached right there as he gets stuck down under the apron.
Yeah, of course, we also mentioned about how this was a tough break for Brandon Jones in the 1, and this is also a tough break for the 88 of Matt Crafton because he just recently got back up into the top 20 in points after having such a horrible first half of the season, including the 25 of Matt DiBenedetto. And with both of those trucks being involved in this melee, that's definitely going to make them lose all of that hard work, as they're going to have to start from scratch, from square one all over again if they were not able to continue. And it's 13 of Jake Garcia, who's been having a very solid season here, currently in the top 5 in the standings and 5th. Not what you want to have happen to start the second half of the season. As the 1 truck of Brandon Jones, as we mentioned, that looks like he's going to be beached right there as he gets stuck onto the apron and into the asphalt. As it's definitely one of the worst feelings to have, just sitting right there as a passenger, not being able to move.
And another big namer that was also involved in this was the 4 truck of Jonathan Nemechek. He's currently second in the standings, 10 points behind our current championship leader, Tim Simmons, and he was not involved in this. So definitely got to look out and see how much damage the 4 truck of Jonathan Nemechek has. A big hit right there into the driver's side door by Dawson Sutton into Chandler Smith. And of course, we saw those two trucks smoking coming into the pit road, more than likely busting the motor of those trucks. So that's probably going to be a day ender for the both of them. I see the 1 and the 13 both spinning around 25. Matt Benedetto, who was involved in that, trying to drive it back to pit road, as well as Jake Garcia. Yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of other drivers heading down to this one, as this was a huge crash in turn 3.
Here's the onboard of the 38 of Chandler Smith. As all of a sudden, the 44 of Andres Perez gets under the wall, and all of a sudden, he is spinning around. He gets involved in this wreck. There's going to be a lot of big hits in this one, including right here, that being Dawson Sutton in the 26. That's a tough break for Chandler Smith and the 38 team. Obviously, 9th in the standings right now, as he's making a long drive down to the pit road, as he sees everybody avoiding him, driving past him as he goes down pit road. And the 38 of Chandler Smith is done for today's event.
And now the onboard of the 1 of Brandon Jones.
And pretty significant contact by Brandon Jones, as he was hit 3 times by 3 different drivers. And what you see right here, he was trying to drive back to pit road. And then just like Austin Dillon back in 2021 IRL, he gets stuck onto the banking and onto the apron.
Yeah, so we're going to see if Brandon Jones is going to be able to continue from this wreck. But there's definitely going to be some damage that they're going to have to take care of after this wreck, as we're now riding along with Jake Garcia, currently 5th in the standings.
Oh man, and Jake almost had that clear until the one truck of Brandon Jones came spinning back around in front of his path. Thankfully, though, he doesn't have any big hits in that number 13, so he may be okay for the most part. He'll be able to continue. But there's going to be a little bit of damage there on the nose of that number 13, but he should be okay for the most part.
And Ty Majeski in the 98. Now, he actually got a little bit of contact here from this incident. He's going to get into the bumper of the number 99. He tagged the wall just a little bit, but for the most part, he was able to avoid the worst, as he was able to get through that one. I wouldn't say relatively unscathed, because he did get some contact from that wreck, but it really could have been worse for the 98 of Ty Majeski, as he really could have been involved in this accident. That brings out our second caution here of the day, collecting at least 8 trucks here in this incident coming into turn number 3. We'll come back once again here at Texas Speedway for yet again another restart here for the SpeedCast.com 250. Just now finishing up lap 16 under caution, as we're about to restart here on lap 17 with Corey Heim and Justin Haley leading us down to the restart of the gears to go. Back underway at Texas.
And of course, next time by, we continue our tradition since race 3, and that is honoring Kyle Busch with a silent lap 18. And we're getting already close to that, as this is lap 17. So next lap, we will go silent for a whole lap. As almost dead even right now, as there's another wreck behind him, that being the 3 of Cletus McFarland and the 66 of Luke Fenhouse on the back straightaway.
Big hit from McFarland and Fenhouse on the back straightaway. No caution!
What? Excuse me?
And as we stay green here, we're about to push lap 18, and we go silent in honor of Kyle Busch.
Hey, what?
And after that bizarre moment with no caution taking place, after that 2-truck incident on the back straightaway, we're now seeing the 52 of Stuart Friesen now working his way out front, as he is now leading here at Texas Motor Speedway. Now the 37 of Ashley Caboose behind them is trying to make her way up front here, trying to get in front of the 11 of Corey Heim. Right now they continue to be side by side as Stuart Friesen's trying to pull away from the field. And Corey Heim's going to hold on to that position, and he stays in second place. Ashley Caboose stays in third. Tim Simmons fourth, and there's the caution. Now it's out.
Debris.
And it is for sure debris on the back straightaway. More than likely from the incident that we just saw involving Luke Fenhouse and the 3 of Cletus McFarland.
Like, I don't know how it didn't bring out the caution initially when those 2 drivers slammed into the inside wall. I thought that was going to be enough to trigger a caution, like what we saw from the previous 2 times that we've had. And somehow, when they hit the wall initially, the yellow flag did not come out. But now, since we got debris on the racetrack, I guess, probably from the incident like what you mentioned, now the caution decided to come out.
And this is going to be our third one already today. Only 20 laps in, and we've already had 3 cautions out for incident, this time involving the 3 at Cletus McFarland and 2-time race winner this season, Luke Fenhouse.
Yeah, so this took place 3 laps prior to the caution on lap 17. And of course, we see Cletus McFarland right here going way up high. It's like what we saw so many times already here today. And it claims another driver here this time around involving Cletus McFarland in the number 3 truck, as well as Luke Fenhouse in the 66, who is currently having some bad luck right now after winning those 2 consecutive races that he had at Chicagoland and Talladega. And I'm still baffled that they were still green here at this point. I don't know how they didn't go caution after that one.
Well, that's the basis of NR 2003 for you. Sometimes the caution does want to come out, sometimes the caution doesn't want to come out. And there's better cautions mod for a reason, in case you want to spice things up. And that's exactly what we just did. But that's a tough break for Cletus McFarland and Luke Fenhouse, as they both restarted near the top 15. And they both got caught up in this one. They had pretty solid days going on so far. And the 66 of Luke Fenhouse, his bad luck continues, as this is probably going to drop him deeper in the points, and maybe as well as the 3 of Cletus McFarland. But we're going to see how much damage they have and see if they're going to be able to continue. But that 3 truck of McFarland definitely hit the wall pretty hard, so we're going to have to see how much damage they could fix there and see if they can get him back on the track.
Well, here's the onboard of the 66 of Luke Fenhouse. Pretty significant impact right there by both the 3 and the 66 into the inside wall. And of course, we've seen it time and time again with so many of these drivers going way up high, entering out of turn number 2 on the slick surface. And right now, currently, the back stretch of the turn number 3 is Calamity Corner.
And our third caution of the day is out here in Texas. SpeedyCash.com, 250 with 2 trucks involved, that being Cletus McFarland and the 66 of Luke Fenhouse. And as we work under this caution, we will take once again another commercial break, and we'll be right back for another restart here at Texas Motor Speedway.
And let's hope we can get a much better restart than last time.
Well, we have finally reached the halfway mark, as we're about to go to our 3rd restart here of the day, coming into lap 25. And it's going to be Stuart Freeze and Corey Heim leading us down to the restart. Back up through the years they go, we are back on the way.
And Corey Heim did not have a great restart right there, as the 52 was able to get a great advantage out of the 37 of Ashley Caboose. And looks like there's more issues right here. Luke Fenhouse, who was involved in that fray, is way off the pace here as he was trying to get it back rolling.
And it looks like it's a tire fail on the number 66 of Luke Fenhouse. And here comes the 37 of Ashley Caboose, now working her way out front here, trying to take the lead away from the 52 of Stuart Friesen with the help of the 17 of Giovanni Ruggiero, who we haven't talked about much here so far today.
Giovanni Ruggiero now working his way out front in the number 17 truck, and he's making it 3 wide right now for the 2nd place position as they enter in turn number 2. An aggressive move right there by that number 17.
Works his way up the 2nd. Oh, and sideways behind the Caboose into the wall. And Heim gets turned by the 37 as he spins back in front of traffic. A huge shot it up into the air. And now more trucks are getting collected as Tyler Angle gets involved with the 80 of Matt Crafton, as well as the 25 of DeBenedetto. And an unbelievable crash coming into turn number 3 with our pole sitter and early contender Corey Heim in the 11 taken out with major damage as the caution comes out once again.
Remember when we said that stakes are high here at this track? That was a prime example of it. Of course, we first saw Giovanni Ruggiero making an aggressive 3 wide move to go down into the bottom to take 2nd away and eventually the lead, as he's currently our race leader right now. And then we saw Corey Heim, who was stuck up on top 3 wide, go way up high and scrape the wall, and he tried to get back in line, and there was no room at all for him to go, and we saw that numerous times before in the incidents that we've had previously. And this is going to be costly for a lot of these drivers in the championship standings that's currently in the top 10, especially Corey Heim, who was an early contender here in this run-in. And I believe right now the pace truck has led more laps than anybody today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, let's take a look back and see what caused this massive pileup to occur on the back straightaway. Of course, you see Corey Heim gets into the wall right there, and Tim Simmons actually gets into the 11 and turns him and causes a massive accident here as Corey Heim literally gets destroyed as he gets hit by 3 drivers and goes up into the air. Thankfully, though, he does not flip over, but that truck is definitely killed as there was a lot of smoke coming out of that number 11 as you see the 37 who was trying to overcorrect it gets into the 11. And that's what started a major chain reaction. We see Brandon Jones and Cletus McFarland once again involved in another accident here as Cletus has a lot more damage as well as Brandon Jones as you see the smoke pouring out of the number 11 of Corey Heim. And here's the angle of this again, this time in slow motion. You see Corey Heim scraping the wall, and then once he bounces back, he got in front of Tim Simmons at a bad angle, and that's what caused the chain reaction here with multiple drivers getting involved. Sammy Smith got a good chunk of that wreck as well in that number 8.
Man!
A big hit right there by the 18 of Tyler Ankrum. The red flag has been displayed as there's definitely going to be a lot of carnage to clean up here after this massive pileup entering in turn number 3. With so many trucks involved, Matt DiBenedetto for the second time today, Andres Perez involved, Tanner Gray, and of course Matt Crafton, Tony Breininger, and Stephen Parsons also involved in this fray. But this definitely took out a lot of drivers who was trying to get back up into the points, and as well as drivers that were having very solid days, including the 37 of Caboose, who we were just talking about, and as well as our pole sitter, Corey Heim, in the 11.
And entering in this race, Corey Heim, surprisingly, is not in the top 10 in points, as he's only 12th right now in the standings.
Of course, with several drivers that was already in the top 10,
mostly involved in this fray.
and what's going to cause a huge shakeup here in the points is that
multiple other drivers in the top 10 were involved in separate incidents already today.
And right now, the 97 of Tim Simmons is currently listed
in the 6th place position, so if he could stay where he's at and stay out of trouble, he's going to have a big points boost coming into the next race of Watkins Glen.
Well, Simmons somehow was able to get away from this one as he was in the middle of that mess pretty much at the start of it, and somehow was able to avoid all this carnage behind him. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a big point booster right here for Tim Simmons, as he's going to have at least a bigger points advantage for the championship lead if he can stay where he's at in the 6th place position, as so many drivers in the top 10 were involved in this one, including Corey Heim in the 11.
Speaking of which, here's Tim Simmons. He was in the middle of it. He's got a catbird seat to all of this. Wow.
He mostly checked up for the wreck, and he was able to avoid all the carnage that was behind him. And right now, currently, as you mentioned, Tim James, he's currently in the 6th place position. And by the way, he started 28th in this event, find himself 6th all of a sudden.
And here's Tim Simmons' best friend and teammate in the 37, Ashley Caboose.
As unfortunately, she had nothing to do right there. She had nowhere to go.
As she was trying to overcorrect the truck, she accidentally clipped the 11 of Corey Heim.
And of course, it started the chain reaction as she could see the mess in front of her. She doesn't have too much damage on that number 37, as she was able to avoid most of the carnage that was happening in front of her. And she was really lucky to have that happen, as it would have resulted in more damage in that 37. Tyler Ankrum, and we're going to let our viewers at home listen to this real speed. Wow. Yeah, just comes to show you about how things can quickly change here in an instant. Now, this is going to be a bit unusual, but we're actually going to ride along with Connor Mozak, because he's probably going to have one of the craziest record boys we've ever seen. Threaded the needle, never lifted, and somehow avoided all that carnage in front of him.
That was incredible right there. Great driving there, Connor.
And finally, the 11 of Corey Heim, who is one of the strongest trucks in the early running here in today's event, and it all comes crashing down, literally.
Now look how fast these guys are coming in. They're trying to slow down the best they can to avoid this fray. But of course, there was nowhere to go as the track was immediately blocked. And there was just an innocent passenger at that point. As you see a lot of smoke coming out of the number 11. It is confirmed the 11 of Koiheim is done for today's event, and this is going to be huge for him in the point standings as he was just rapidly approaching in on the top 10 in points.
There's some heavy hitters involved, including the 11 of Koiheim as well as the 37 of Ashton DeBoost, are involved in this multi-truck accident in turn number 3, involving Tyler Anker, Matt Crafton, Cletus McFarland, Brandon Jones, Tanner Gray, Tony Breininger. We'll be right back here as we await cleanup here at Texas Motor Speedway as we're under the red flag for the first time today for a multi-truck pileup coming into turn number 3. And in the meantime, once we wait for cleanup to be finished, we'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back for another restart here at Texas.
But in the fourth war, it's hot.
Yeehaw! Here are the list of drivers involved in that accident that just took place on lap 25, as a good majority of them are done in today's event, including the 11 of Koiheim, who was a big namer here in the early running here. And we're about to restart here with 20 laps to go. Back up to the gears they go.
Great restart there by the 52 of Stuart Friesen as he was able to clear ahead of these guys. How about Lane Ridge in the 34? Haven't talked about much at all about him today. Suddenly, he's finding himself inside the top 5, battling along with Caden Honeycutt for that position.
And of course, with a lot of other drivers taken out, this brings out a brand new opportunity for some drivers out here, including the 9 truck of Grant Infinger, who's currently 4th in the standings right now, and Tim Simmons in the 97, who's worked his way up from 28th all the way up here into the top 10.
But we'll look at the run that Giovanni Ruggiero is making right now. He is making another aggressive move like what we saw before the red flag came out for that multi-truck pileup, as he's getting a big push right now by the 16 of Justin Haley, but now looks like Haley's trying to make the peak. I don't think he's going to try to make that move work, as he's going to try to see if he can make it work. Oh, he's going to back out right there. He's going to play it safe. As, somehow he's able to get the run off of 4, as now almost side by side right now for the lead. Almost 3 wide for second again.
Stuart Friesen's dropping a little bit back here as he's losing a little bit of momentum here, as Giovanni Ruggiero now leading here at Texas Motor Speedway.
And what a day this would be for Giovanni Ruggiero. Of course, we mentioned that he had 3 straight top 15 finishes heading into the first half of the season until all of a sudden he had a major collapse, and now he's finding himself out of the top 5 into the 23rd place position in the point standings. And he's hoping to at least have a bit of a comeback story here today, but he's got the 16 of Justin Haley, who is currently battling alongside of him right now for the lead in that number 16.
And that's going to be an easy pass right there for Justin Haley in number 16 as he works his way back up to the front. Justin Haley has been another strong truck that we actually haven't really talked about much here today. He started on the outside front row in the second place position, and he's really been in contention ever since the start of this race, as we've seen him out front for a good majority of laps, but hasn't led every single lap because Koiheim, of course, was the one that led the most laps before he crashed on lap 25 in that multi-truck incident. But now Justin Haley has now worked his way out front as things are about to get single file here, as things are finally starting to calm down here at Texas.
How about Caden Honeycutt in the 45, continuing to be strong here in the late running here in that number 45, currently in the 5th place position in the top 5. As it's really been a fantastic day for the number 45 for Nice Motorsports, staying out of the trouble all day today. Right now currently still running in the top 5, but now here comes the 34, Lane Riggs. Right now currently trying to see if he can get position here. He doesn't have a lot of momentum help on the bottom lane, so he's going to lose a bit of momentum here, as now he's side by side with Stuart Friesen, who doesn't have any help on top.
And of course, Lane Ridge trying to rebound, especially after winning that race at Daytona in the season opener. And what's that? We got smoke coming out of the 33 of Frankie Muniz. And it looks like he's got damage on the back end of that truck, and the caution is out again for the 5th time here today, as there might have been oil that might have spilled out of that number 33 truck, because that thing is heavily smoking.
And caution's out again. It's been a crazy race since the start of this race, as on just lap 36, already 5 cautions already.
But we do have 15 laps to go, so this could change the complexion of this race, as well as the strategy that all of these drivers are trying to do here at the end of this one. As right now, Justin Haley is going to lead us down to the caution flag for the 5th time today, as Giovanni Ruggiero currently 2nd, Lane Ridge 3rd, and I believe Caden Honeycutt may be in the 4th place position with Stuart Freeze in 5th, I believe. And I think it's Grant Infinger 6th, Tim Simmons 7th, and Rajat Karoof currently 8th right now in this pack.
Oh, what happened there?
Oh, and I believe that was Ashley Caboose that was on pit road and then just disappeared from it, meaning that she just retired from the race.
My guess is that I believe the 33 and the 37 might have collided and caused this whole thing to transpire, but we're not entirely sure because we had to get some replays. But yeah, that 37 of Caboose is done for today, and I believe the 33 might be done too because, of course, we saw how much smoke was coming out of the rear of the number 33. And right now, if things hold right now, in total, 22 trucks left on the field, could be 21. And it looks like, to me, it's another incident into the back straightaway out of turn number 2, and it was. This time it was Riley Herbst, who was 3 wide up top, gets into the wall, gets into Frankie Muniz, got him hurt around, and then he slams into the wall, and the 37 of Caboose gets collected with him. And right now, as we're being told, Frankie Muniz is also done for today's event, and that is a tough break for that number 33, especially after starting above the top 25 in today's event. And not to mention, Frankie Muniz is dead last in the points. It's been a horrible season for this 33 so far for Rayham Motorsports, and it's really an insult to injury right here as he was trying his best to avoid all chaos as possible. He was doing good up until this point, and that just summarizes the season right there. Smoke coming out of the rear of that number 33. But thankfully, though, of course, with 21 drivers out, he will finish in the top 25, so maybe that can help him out, but not a whole lot because he's not going to get a whole lot of points. But I'm pretty sure that he was wishing to finish this race and get more points than this.
And on board with the 37 of Ashley Caboose, as she had a catbird seat to all this, had nowhere to go. She gets slightly clipped by the 33 of Frankie Muniz, and that's how she gets in it. And gets into the 33, into the passenger side. And of course, the 37 is done for today's event. That's the 3rd time that this 37 truck has DNF'd. Ashley's 2nd, as she goes down pit road, where she eventually retires from the race, including the 33 of Frankie Muniz, as these two drivers wet down the back straightaway, bringing out our 5th caution of the day, with less than 15 left to go of the SpeedyCash.com 250. With your top 5 currently sitting as this, with Justin Haley as your race leader. That is Giovanni Ruggiero 2nd, Lane Ritz 3rd, Caden Honeycutt 4th, and Stuart Friesen rounding up the top 5. So we'll see how things will shape out here in the end as we work under our 5th caution of the day. We'll be right back here after another quick break, and we'll be right back for hopefully the final restart of the race. Man, Frankie really found himself in the middle, huh? Cutting it close with 10 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway, as Justin Haley, Giovanni Ruggiero leads us down to the restart once again.
Just about dead even right there on that restart once again, as Giovanni Ruggiero almost had the slight advantage over the 16 until the 16 had another run once again. Coming in the turn number 2, as it looks like Justin Haley might be able to clear away from the 17. Looks like some other drivers are still scraping the wall, but thankfully though, right now everybody continues to stay straight, as with a big help right there by the 34 Lane Ridge, Justin Haley clears away from the both of them, and he is trying to pull away.
Now, of course, Justin Haley has already won a race this year. That will be at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And one of the closest finishes that we've seen so far here, the closest that we've seen in the Dewalt Truck Series so far, as Lane Ritz in the 34s looking to try to get redemption here as he's working his way up front. And there's Tim Simmons, our championship leader. And although he's having a great time right now here in the Dewalt Truck Series, his time in the Budget Truck Series was absolutely horrendous. 0 wins, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, and finished 35th in the standings. And that would be 3rd last among all full-time drivers. The good news is he was able to get a ride in the Season 7 Grattan Cup Series in the same channel on the Stuart Grattan channel, so we wish him nothing but the best as he starts his campaign there. As now you see Lane Ridge now moving up into the 2nd place position, obviously trying to get some redemption after having a slight collapse after winning the Daytona race in the season opener. But how about Brandon Queen in the 12? Although he hasn't been that consistent for wins here in these past couple of weeks, he is currently sitting 4th in the standings right now, with a solid season currently going on. Right now in front of him, currently 3 wide contact made right there It looks like the 97 and the 52 as they were exiting out of turn number 2, but thankfully though they were able to keep it straight as Kenny Honeycutt slightly kisses the wall.
Yeah, Honeycutt is going to lose a lot of positions here as he's going to drop all the way into the 8th place position after starting in the 5th place position during this restart here. But out in front, it's been smooth sailing for the 16 of Justin Haley. He is just praying that no more cautions come out because of the amount of cautions that we've had so far here in this event. And now it looks like Tim Simmons is now losing a bit of momentum here because here comes the 12 of Brandon Queen. This is for the 6th place position.
Now we talked about much about these two drivers right here, that being Ty Majeski and Rajat Karuth. Karuth has been having I wouldn't say a bad season, it's been a disappointing season as he's still looking for his first top 10 of the season as he's currently below the top 20 in the point standings right now. So if he can get out of here with a top 10 here in today's event, that will definitely help him out in the point standings for sure, as we are closing on to the end of this race. We are coming in with 5 laps to go here this time around, so Justin Haley's just praying that a caution does not come out here in this lap, because if they do, we could potentially have a 1-lap shootout to end this race, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to having that as Justin Haley comes across the line. 5 laps to go. This race is official. Now, one thing that Justin Haley really needs to focus now is to keep the 34 and the 17 in check behind him, as now they're currently side by side for the 2nd place position, as these two drivers has been having a very solid day here today, including Lane Riggs in the 34, who's been staying out of trouble here today. And if he can stay where he's at right here, this will definitely be good points momentum here coming into the next race, and that being at Watkins Glen.
Well, no matter where he finishes here today, it's been a great day for this 34 of Lane Riggs, as now we're seeing Giovanni Bajura up into the 2nd place position, and Stuart Friesen now moves up into 3rd.
And Stuart Friesen obviously did not have a great start to the season, as he was near mid-pack in the point standings, and now he's currently finding himself 11th in the standings right now, of course with that win at Bermuda Triangle Super Speedway. And this is the exact same scheme that he ran at Bermuda Triangle where he won at, so a little bit of a momentum booster right there. I'm not sure if this is the same truck that he's using at Bermuda Triangle Super Speedway. Not sure if that's a bit of a strategy right there, but if so, then that truck is still blazing fast.
But the thing is, he's passing the 17 right now after he got a big push by the 34 of Lane Riggs. So now this 52 is going to try to see if he can get in front of this 16 to potentially take the lead here. But now we got 2 laps to go here at Texas Speedway. Can he catch up to him in time?
Well, it's already been a wild event so far here at Texas Motor Speedway here. So Justin Haley is just praying that he doesn't get into any sort of problems here in these final 8 turns. As now we saw Lane Riggs now moving up to 3rd. But the main thing is, 2nd place, Stuart Friesen. Can he catch up to him in time?
Well, I got news for you. That 52 truck for the past 2 laps has been the fastest truck on the racetrack, and he's rapidly approaching in on the 16 as this battle for the lead has just amplified.
And the white flag waves one more time around for Justin Haley. Now he's got Stuart Friesen, who gained 0.3 of a second here on this lead. Oh, and it looked like the 52 had to check up a lot there, and I believe that's going to seal the deal for Stuart Friesen in the 52.
Yeah, lost a lot of momentum there entering out of turn number 4, so I believe that this is going to be Justin Haley's race to lose.
And after what's been a chaotic day, Justin Haley is going to get the right end of the stick. No side-by-side finish this time. Here he comes out of turn number 4. Justin Haley wins at Texas.
Great rebound for the 16 of Justin Haley, who of course had a bad result at Homestead Miami Speedway after leading the points coming into that race. Now he's going to slowly gain all those points back here as he gets the win here at Texas Motor Speedway for the SpeedyCash.com 250. That's Justin Haley's 2nd win of the season, with Stuart Friesen coming home in 2nd.
And then from 3rd to 5th, there was a timely result that these 3 drivers definitely needed, that being Lane Riggs, Giovanni Bajura, and Kenny Honeycutt, as they round up the top 5. And how about this 97 of Tim Simmons? In 8 races, 6 top 10 finishes in these first 8 races.
This will definitely increase his points lead in the championship standings, as the 3 drivers in the top 5 did not even finish inside the top 5. The only one that did it was Brandon Queen in the 12, but he was 13 points back. But Justin Haley is slowly going to close in on that championship lead as he gets his second victory here of the season. Let's take a look at your results.
Of course, we mentioned about the first 6 drivers being Haley, Friesen, Ridge, Ruggiero, Honeycutt, and Simmons, with Haley getting his second win of the season. But how about Brandon Queen in the 12 truck? Staying out of the 12 here today, got himself another top 10 finish. This is probably going to jump him up in points, I think.
And then you got Ty Majeski and Jake Garcia, one of the 2 drivers that actually finished in this race that is top 10 in the standings right now. And finally, Rajah Koof in the number 71 finally gets himself his first top 10 of the season, finishing home in the 10th place position as he stayed out of trouble today. They got Daniel Hemrick in the 19, finishing 11th, and a Parker Kligerman in the 75. After spinning out on lap 4, comes back all the way to the 12th place position, stayed out of trouble since. And Matt Mills as well in the 42 also stayed out of trouble, so those 2 drivers who came in here entering in as one of the bubble drivers in the championship standings are probably going to get out of it now. And Corey LaJoy in the 77 comes home 14th. Grant Anfinger, who is 3rd in the standings, comes home 15th. That's probably going to drop him a little bit of points. And you got Sammy Smith, Ben Rhodes, Riley Herbst, and then Connor Mozak and Spencer Boyd. There's going to be good points paying races for them as they both finish inside the top 20. And then take a look at this next column here. Luke Fenhaus in the 66 was the only driver that finished a lap down, and everybody else were not able to finish in today's event, whether because they were probably involved in the incidents that we had earlier today. That was a chaotic race.
Yeah, of course, the big namers that did not finish this race would be Ashley Caboose and Corey Heim. Of course, Corey Heim was the one that actually dominated the first half of this race, leading 15 laps, was involved in that massive crash on lap 25, almost going up into the air and upside down. And of course, there were multiple other drivers that were involved in that fray, that being Frankie Muniz, Ashley Caboose, Andres Perez, Tanner Gray, Cletus McFarland, Tyler Ankrum, Tony Breininger, and Stephen Parsons.
And here's the final column here in this list, that being Matt Crafton, Matt DiBenedetto, Brandon Jones, Jonathan Nemechek, Chandler Smith, Dawson Sutton, and Landon Castle. And that means in total, 21 drivers were able to finish this race, 16 DNFs here in this race in total.
And we haven't had this many truck drivers DNF in a race since Charlotte back at race number 2, where 15 drivers in that race did not finish in that event. So this definitely broke the record of most DNFs in a single event, that being at 16, with 20 drivers only finishing on the lead lap and 1 driver finishing a lap down. That would be the 66 of Luke Fenhaus. But of course, there was a lot of big namers that was in the top 10 in points here today that was involved in incidents. So there could be a chance that we could see a big swing in the championship standings here at the end of this one. And we're about to take a look at your championship standings right now. Let's take a look at them. And of course, Tim Simmons continues the championship lead, but Justin Haley is now closing in.
And Tim Simmons came in here with 10 points under his belt in the championship lead. Now it's down to 7 as Justin Haley is now closing in here on this championship lead battle once again. How about Brandon Queen moving up to the 3rd place position? Jake Garcia now moving up to 4th. As you see, Grant Infinger, John Hunter Nemechek has definitely lost a ton of positions here, as John Hunter Nemechek, who entered in 2nd here in this event, comes home 9th in the standings afterwards. Yikes.
And that was, of course, John Hunter Nemechek didn't even finish in today's event, and he was one of the drivers that got out early in this event. But there was a lot of drivers that actually jumped up in the standings. That would be Stuart Friesen in the 52 after he jumps from 11th to 8th. And then most importantly, Giovanni Ruggiero and Kenny Honeycutt, who finished in the top 5 here today, comes from 21st to 22nd in the standings, goes up to 14th and 15th in the standings. So that's a pretty good jump boost right there, as they both finally made it back into the top 15 in points.
And there's not much activity as what we thought was going to happen. The only one that really fell back was Chandler Smith, who entered into this race 9th in the standings and fell to 13th afterwards. And that was because he was involved in the first multi-truck crash that we've had. But mainly the main activity is between 27th and 34th. Those drivers are marked as yellow, meaning that they're in the bubble spot. And that continues as the same. Like 27th to 34th, that remains the same. And we really gotta keep an eye on those drivers, because we could be actually seeing some eliminations take place, especially Frankie Muniz, who has 84 points, 147 points back from the championship lead. If Tim Simmons can continue his momentum off of these next couple of races, by race 11, we could be seeing some eliminations take place. So Frankie Muniz has really got to be careful on that, unless Tim Simmons can really continue his momentum going on here through these next couple of weeks. So we just got to keep an eye out on that because we're really getting dangerously close to the end of the season as we start the second half.
Yeah, of course, we see Matt Crafton and Matt Benedetto falling dangerously close to that bubble list now as they drop significantly in points now with Matt Crafton and Matt Benedetto with 25th and 26th, just 2 spots over the top of the bubble list. So they're going to have to be careful here in these next couple of weeks because race number 9, we're heading to our first road course. Originally, we were going to go to Valkenburg International and the Netherlands to do race number 9, but unfortunately, we were unable to get that work, so we're going to have to go to Watkins Glen International instead. It's still going to be our first road course on the schedule, second time that we've been there before, with Chase Elliott winning that race in the Fast Now Cup Series in Season 1. So we should be expected to see Chase Elliott in that race as well, and a lot of other drivers as well. But it's going to be a real challenge because we never raced at a road course for the Truck Series before, but this is for the Mission 200 for race number 9 for the Dewalt Truck Series. And it's going to be interesting nonetheless since this is going to be our first road course on the schedule. And of course, this should be expected to take place after the first race of the Home Depot Short Track Sprint series that we have coming up. So this should be expected to take place on September 12th, 2026. So I hope the fans are looking forward to it because we, of course, have a lot of stuff planned for you coming along the way. Because, of course, we got the Coca-Cola 600 that's expected to take place for race 2 of Season 2 of the Fast Now Cup Series coming up next Sunday on August 23rd on 2026, and of course on September 4th we got the Home Depot Short Track Sprint Series that we have coming up for the season opener at 5 Flat Speedway, and then we will have the 9th race for the Mission 200 on September 12th, 2026. So I hope you guys are really looking forward to that. And at this time, we do have 2 spots remaining left for the Forever Rowdy 380. So if you race fans are watching this or are interested in that, make sure to grab them before they're gone because who knows, maybe on Sunday, those 2 spots will already be taken by the time that this video is released. But nonetheless, guys, that's going to conclude our coverage here at Texas Motor Speedway. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in into this event. It was a wild race for sure, but Justin Haley secures his second victory here today. So congratulations to Justin Haley as he now moves from second in the championship standings. Tim James and James Simmons here at Texas Motor Speedway. So long, everybody, and we will see you guys next week for the second race of the second season for the Coca-Cola 600 of the Fast Now Cup Series season. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys at Charlotte.